Are you scared?
Hello? What's your favorite scary movie?
Oi, my favorite scary movie is... That's not good. That's horrible. That was really bad. This is a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Hello, everybody. Well, I can't do it. Hello, everybody.
This is a knife.
This is a knife. Crikey.
Crikey.
I'm Crikey Steve Irwin. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Toby James, a.k.a. Mr. So Smooth, a.k.a. the Smooth Effect himself, and welcome to Flickbook Horror, because we're the podcast for the non-average horror movie viewer, or the newbies, as we like to call them. And today we're going to a land down under. I did that. And we're talking about the movie Wolf Creek, which came out in 2005. Oi, I am not here by myself. I got my partner with... See, I'm trying to do it slower, so maybe I don't fuck it up, but I keep going British with it. I'm like, I started oi, and I end up like, hello. But I got my tag team partner here with me. He's got a knife, and this is his knife. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Mr. Malave, the Music Man. Hello, Mr. Malave.
Oi, this is a knife, and I suck at accents. And it's all right, because Cranky's I'm ready.
Crankies, I'm ready.
I can't do it. What's up, everybody? It is Mr. Malave, a.k.a. Matthew Malave. Well, I can't even talk now, you see, because of this damn Australian accent.
It fucks
I am
everything
the
up.
four-time Who You Got champion, and I am ready to talk some Wolf Creek. 2005, man. 2005, good year.
Yeah,
it was
good
a good year. I
This is
remember exactly what I was doing then.
I graduated high school this year.
Oh, I was a junior in high school at this year.
Yeah, I graduated high school in 2005 without a knife. Did you have a knife?
I did have a knife, yes. But as you know, when Mr. Malave has a knife, I get in trouble.
Yes, that's a very
For
true.
all our OG second rounders out there who know the story.
That's a very true story. So, yes, Mr. Malave, we are talking the Australian film Wolf Creek, which a lot of people, they consider this to be a horror movie. I wouldn't really say it's a horror. I mean, I get why it's considered a horror movie. I wouldn't say it's a horror movie. It's more... What would you say, more like suspense movie? It's not really a slasher either, because I mean, he has a knife, but he doesn't use the knife that much.
I say it's more of like, it's a slow burn movie, so I say it's like a thriller in a way.
Okay,
because
thriller.
You're always like, you get those eerie feelings in this movie, and it makes you unease, and like it keeps you on the edge of your seat in certain parts. So I think it's a thriller. It's like a thriller.
That's a good way to put it. I would have to agree too. I would say suspense thriller, because there are some very tense scenes in this film. This movie. Right off the bat, you know, all right, we're going to get into first impressions and whatnot, but I will say I've seen this movie multiple times. This is not my first viewing. You've mentioned it. We spoke about it before we started recording. The cinematography is gorgeous. The Australian, like the background, the way it looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the way it's filmed. It's beautifully shot. What about you? What do you think of the cinematography?
Yeah, no, I love the way it was shot. I love that they showed all the Australian planes. It makes you feel like you were actually there with them, you know, and because they're just a bunch of backpacking people. They were just trying to see the sights, and we felt like we were on that journey with them. I also love the camera angles that they use sometimes. There was times when they keep coming in and out of the car, and you see like the cameraman's right in the back seat, you know what I mean? And then even times when they're getting suspenseful, you see shots from behind the car, or like even low shots that they see a lot, like with the feet and everything else too. I felt like it keeps the suspense going, right? It feels like someone's watching them, you know what I mean? And that's what I love. That played a big part in that movie, you know, on top of the plot.
Yeah, I agree. I think the way that they shoot it, not only just the Australian scenery, but how they focus on like the back of the car, the feet, where does feel like someone's watching you, because it turns out there is somebody watching you.
Yep.
And there is a reason why this is happening. But yeah, again, it is a very the movie was only made for $1 million, so it was shot beautifully for $1 million movie. You know, this isn't a camcorder movie. Like this was legit. They were in Australia at Wolf Creek, because that's a real place, and they were shooting it. Now the characters. Let's get to the characters. But actually, matter of fact, before we get to the characters, Mr. Malave, your initial reaction. So I say, Mr. Malave, we're doing Wolf Creek. What's the first thing that came to your mind?
All right. Well, I mean, it's not the first time I've seen this movie. I remember grabbing it in Blockbuster with the previously viewed DVDs for like $5.99, and I was like, you know what, this looks pretty dope. Let me just spend $6 and watch it. You know what I mean? And I saw it, and I was pleasantly surprised then. And with the rewatch now, like I want to say that like it didn't really hit as much as when I first initially seen it many times. It's been several years. Even I can't even tell you how many, but it didn't hit as it did before, but it still holds up to me. I feel like, you know, with the cinematography off the bat, I was like, oh yeah, I forget how beautifully shot this movie was. And then just keeping you on the end of your seats, and it was almost cringeworthy sometimes, you know, like when you're just like, oh my God. And what I love the most about this movie is the fact that, you know, even the way like the kills happen or things like that, it was different, a little different. You know what I mean? Of course, there was similarities that we see through and through the whole movie, like Texas Chainsaw and all these other like desert, stranded, like Wrong Turn kind of movies. You know what I mean? But there was a few moments where we'll get into that I'm just like, oh, this was different, and this is what stood out in this movie. So watching it again, and I saw it like last night, it's still fresh in my brain. Watching it again, I'm just like, you know, I was still like, yeah, you know, like let's go. You know what I mean? I was still pleasantly surprised, and I was on the edge of my seat, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, I will say, because this movie is not super gory. It's not one of those kind of movies, you know? And I like that you mentioned Texas Chainsaw, because, I mean, by watching this movie, you see where they get it from. Like, the shots are almost as similar as Texas Chainsaw, you know? Yes. The sound of quality and the composition is very Texas Chainsaw-like, you know? And I really like that, because I like Texas Chainsaw. So it's just an Australian version of it, but not exactly, because he's not really going for the gore shit. Now, we see that he does do some gore shit. But that's after, like, this is already pre-death. The person's already dead. Like, we don't see him actually do some gory shit to them.
No.
You know,
he's
just a psychopath. And of course, when I would talk about the psychopath, we're talking about Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor. Put him on your list as crazy serial killers, because Mick Taylor's a fucking nutcase. But he's weird enough, an awesome kind of nutcase. Like, you kind of want to have a beer with the dude, and then you end up waking up, you know, on a fucking cross and shit. He crucified the guy, technically.
He definitely did crucify him.
Yeah, that was pretty disgusting. But Mick Taylor, he's played by John Jarrett, and he's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Know, it was like, it's the friendliness, right? Like, he came off as a nice guy. He's friendly. You know, he's coming in, and you're like, off the bat, guys, and I'm just going to tell you, this is not spoilers. And if it is, we're going through the whole fucking movie. Yeah. But like, he comes in, and you're instantly like, yeah, there he is. He's the guy. He's going to kill you. But you're almost like, I understand why they got fooled. This guy's like, oh, you need a spark plug. Like, I got them in the house. Like, I can do it. And then when they were like, oh, we don't have any money, he was like, bro, I wasn't going to take money from you. I was going to do it for free. And like, you're like, oh, all right, this guy's pretty dope. He's towing them. Like, he's like, gave him some water, which we found out knocked them the fuck out. But, you know, like, he comes across as a really nice dude in this chaos that's just happening. You know what I mean? But he's fucking, then when he switches, it's almost like, even when he is being sadistic and scary and like killing you like a maniac, he's doing it nicely.
He does do it nicely, which works perfect for your award, actually.
Yeah.
He does kill him with kindness.
You kill him with kindness, but that's not yet.
No, we're not up to that part. But I agree. Like, when he has the girl tied up to the pole, and he has the gun, and he's like hold on. I gotta do this real quick. And then he shoots, but he doesn't shoot her. He misses on purpose. And just is just like, oh, you thought I was gonna really hit you there. Like he's like, it's like he's fucking with them.
Yeah, he's
like a joke. He's toying with them. And I like when we first meet him because, and you're right, we knew once you see him, you're like, oh, this guy right here is obviously the fucking dude. I mean, if we've seen the trailer, you're gonna see it in the trailer anyway. But regardless, you know he's the bad guy. He's gonna do some fucked up shit. But when he's talking to them and he's like kind of like being like playful with them. He's, you know, where are you from? And then like Sydney, oh, the big city, ho ho. Like he does like the stupid thing, and they just all start laughing. Oh, he's such a nice guy because he really came off that way. Like, let's be real, Mr. Malave. If we were in Australia and we went to Wolf Creek and we met this guy, I think we both would sit there and be like, this guy seems like a pretty cool fucking dude.
Yeah, right.
Like,
fuck.
You know, I mean, after seeing this movie, we know better. You know, we learn from our movies.
Obviously.
But let's pretend we didn't see this movie.
It's art imitating life.
Sure.
Right? Like art. Like we got to make sure that we are watching these movies for a reason, and it's knowledge in the brain.
Sure. Movies will help you in many different situations that you're in, different scenarios. And this is technically, it's based on based on actual events.
Actual events.
Yeah, it's not based on a true story because this is like, they're pretty much saying this is what happens. It actually says in the beginning, I believe it's 90 people, 90 people, 90% people. Is it 90? No.
They say like 30,000 or whatever the number is go missing in Australia all like every year. 90% of them are found
within a month. And the last 10%.
No, they just didn't even say anything. They just left it like that.
Because they're like,
so we're like,
movie.
Oh, this is the 10%, isn't it?
And it's just like movie, like, you know.
And movie.
And I do like about the beginning of this movie because after you get that part, then it shows them pretty much, they're partying, they're getting ready to do something. We don't know what they're doing at first, but we know they're going on a little trip. And then it's the beginning where it says Wolf Creek comes way later.
Yeah, like 15 minutes in.
So 15 minutes in, it's like end movie. Like now the trip has begun. Now welcome to Wolf Creek and welcome to the actual film. And again, we find out Mick Taylor was there the whole time.
Yeah.
This man's been stalking.
We found out, like he's been stalking them. What I like about I love when movies do that. Like we know what we're watching. Like we know the title of the film. Like let us get, it's almost like a prologue in a movie.
Yeah. I
mean, in a book, right? Like you read right beginning and then boom, the title comes and now we're getting deep into it. But even though the title screen does come up and everything, it's a slow burn, man.
Yeah.
Like this movie's a slow burn. Like you have to get really invested in it. I feel like that's one of the reasons why people like are a little turned off with this, because it's like right off the bat you don't get a lot. You get introduced to these characters. You kind of want to care about them, but you're just like following them on these journeys. And like, yes, the cinematography plays it like someone's stalking you, but nothing's really happening until about like 40 minutes in when they meet Mick.
And I think it's because, I mean, who directed this movie? Where's him? Where's his name? Greg McLean. He's the director. That's right. He is the director of the Belko Experiment.
Oh,
yes, that's
that
right.
Came later.
Yeah, that's a good one too. We'll get to that one as well because I would love to talk that one again. So what I like is he wants you to care about the characters. It's not just, you put some characters together and you're rooting for the killer. Because that's every slasher. You're rooting for the killer to kill these pieces of shit. These characters that they fuck, they do drugs, and it's like they're always assholes, But these characters, they're not assholes. These three they're good people.
Right. Even when they made fun of Mick, just like slightly, not even a lot. It was like a subtle, like not even to make fun of. Like they just said something, he laughed, he walked away, and then the girl even went to him and was like, "Hey, sorry," Well,
he does this is a knife, the Crocodile Dundee joke, which is weird. I will say this. Now that if they were American, I can understand them doing that joke. I didn't really like that they utilized that. I get it. Ha ha ha. It's funny. But these three are Australian. they're from Sydney. They even say that, they're coming from Sydney. So to make that joke is a little tacky, where it's just like, that's like, where if we're in Brooklyn and we go to Queens and we try to talk like we're from Queens, and then just sitting there like it's New York.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you trying to talk like we're different? Sydney and where he's coming from is really, Sydney's more rich and whatnot, but they sound the fucking same.
They sound the same, and they're not in the countryside. I guess they're not a hick.
Yeah, I guess that's what he would be. That's what Mick would be. I guess he would be like the Hickville of fucking Australia.
Right.
But I guess if they were American and made that joke, that makes sense, because the joke is from a movie. Mm-hmm. It's from a movie of an Australian going into Manhattan.
Right.
And then they pull the knife and, oh, that's not a knife, this is a knife. So for him to do that, I felt it was like kind of corny, tacky, where you're just like, but that moment though, when Mick looks at him when he says that, that's when you kind of get that little glimpse of him being like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he stares at him for quite time.
Like a dead stare, where you kind of think like, he's thinking like, oh, I'm going to save you for last. Yep. Because you're going to get it the worst.
Yeah, like you're just gonna start bleeding out slowly.
Oh yeah, and we see that he technically is. I to be honest with you, that's what I will give this movie a lot of credit for. You forget about that guy, Ben.
You forget about him instantly.
Yeah, like where's Ben? Because you kind of assume Ben's dead.
Right, the whole movie when she wakes up and everything, and she's tied up, and then you only see the girl. I was like, oh, he definitely just killed Ben, and we're gonna find his body later on.
Mm-hmm. No. We go through a whole fucking movie, and then Ben's there, and Ben never has to deal with Mick.
No.
He got lucky. He never had to deal with Mick.
No, not at all. Because as you know, Mick is a good shot.
Wow, Mick is a great shot. He killed that old man. He hit him in the fucking head, which I'm surprised that he didn't go for the girl.
The eye.
He waited though. Yeah, that's right. He got him in the eye.
You know why though? Because he loves to torture them. He gets off on the fears, and like he almost drinks their tears. That's how crazy he is.
Because he's
know what I mean?
That's a bad guy.
It's a really bad guy.
He's a bad guy, but he's a nice bad guy. Again, I would have a beer with him.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't have a beer with Mick Taylor.
Foster's Australian for beer.
Now, see, if you said that to him, he would kill you first.
Or save me for last.
Or he probably would just save you for last, which means you get away.
Yeah.
You're saved. Well, it depends, I guess, if you where he puts you, because he almost he didn't care.
Right.
It's very strange of how his character arc is. So he has the girl in there. She's tied up. I forgot her name. Because there's Christy. Okay,
Christy is the
Liz.
one tied up. No.
Yeah. Liz. So it's Christy and Liz and Ben. So no, I think Christy's the other one.
Okay.
Christy.
Hold on.
Let's make sure we could figure which one it is. I think Liz.
All right. Christy's the one tied up, and Liz is the one. No, Christy's the one tied up on the pole, and he's about to go crazy on it. Right.
Right.
And
Liz is tied up in
the one
shack.
that she's the protagonist, basically.
She's supposed to be, again, and I will give the movie a lot of credit, she's final girl stage. She has the final girl moments, and she gets it so well. I love that part. I love
she gets it first.
She gets it first. You don't expect it too. But if you think about it, she had the perfect opportunity to just get away. She could have just hopped in the car, drove out, she doesn't know where she's located, but at least she knows, well, we were at Wolf Creek and this is where it happened. This is how it started. So at least all these cops could have came and tried to possibly at least catch Mick Taylor. They could have done it, but she obviously, she wants to see what's going on. Her friend is there. She wants to save her friend, but she could have fucking left and he wouldn't have given two shits.
No.
Never would have cared.
No, I think he had his eyes set on Christy.
He wanted her bad. I mean, he fucking, the one part when he grabs her head, right? And she's still tied to the pole, and he's bashing her fucking head on just bang, bang, bang.
just like, fuck, bro.
Yeah, because it's
like
and
you're
it's
concussing her.
It's so tense the way he does it because he's trying to be like he's a fucking sick bastard, but he's doing it in that Australian way of where he's kind of like being kind of polite at it as he's bashing her fucking head on a pole.
Yeah, right.
You know,
look what you're making me do, darling.
Yeah, like he's just look at what you're doing. Stand up. And he's rubbing his fucking. He rubs his fucking balls on her face, but he's got his pants on, of course. You know, I guess we'll give the movie credit. He does not take his pants off.
Yeah, thank God.
Now, here's the weird part. At that scene, and then Liz comes in, she grabs the rifle, and he's so calm with it, too. She's like, get away from her. And he, okay. You know, a rifle in the wrong hands could, and then he points at the fucking corpse shit. You see what happens if you try to fuck with me? Like, come on. And she takes a shot and she shoots him what? Right? I believe that's in the ear or is it the neck?
I think it was in the neck.
So she shot him in the neck, like right on the side of the neck. And then she goes to shoot him again, but she doesn't know how to use a rifle.
Yeah.
Bro, there's a fucking bow, whatchamacallit? There's
his knife.
Get his knife. Like there's a knife. There's a fucking whatchamacallit? There's fucking shotguns.
Pistols. There's a Magnum.
He had mad shit in there that they could have used to try to kill him, and she just hits him with it in the weakest hit ever. Just like, and he tried to sell it too. You see Mick get a little shake there. He was like Mick Foley doing the shake and whatnot.
Yeah, a little shaky shake.
But like you didn't think of like, I don't know, instead of hitting him in the back with it, I don't know, hit him in the head with it, you know.
Just fucking take the back of the rifle and fucking jam it into the back of his neck.
You could do so much, like especially the girl Christy, who I know she's all fucked up and everything because of what obviously she just went through. But like, grab his knife. He's at that point he's unconscious.
Yeah.
Now we don't know if he's playing possum though. I don't think he was.
No. I think he was really just unconscious.
Like he got shot in the neck and he fell down and he was unconscious. I'd have grabbed the knife and just. I mean, we're playing fucking sushi right now.
Right, like I'm slicing and dicing.
Yeah.
First of all, there's two of you, right? And you know this motherfucker's about to rape her and kill her, right? And you see the body just hanging right over there. That was supposed to be your friend. And then that was going to be you next. And where the fuck is Ben? No one cared about him, right?
No one
cared about him. But guess what? If Christy and Liz would have grabbed two knives and just fucking chomping at the bits at him, right? Then you could just roam around the whole complex and look for this fucking guy. He's not going to come back out.
He had no accomplice.
Then we have no rest of the movie. But still, that was stupid.
But that's what you got to remember. Even though I agree, obviously we wouldn't have the rest of the movie. But this movie, honestly, was long enough to where if that is what happened, then it's like, yo, this, because it's not about it's the fear that this can happen to you. This is what this movie represents. This is the fear of this can happen to you. So if they even would have been able to escape, that whole traumatic side of things was fucking, that shit's fucked up in general because they never mention Ben. They never think about Ben. You know,
none of them said Ben come out their mouths when they were like in torture and agony. Like, oh, we got to get out of here. Oh my God, where's Ben? None of that. No,
happened. She went back to get another car. That's what she went back for.
Not to get Ben.
Right, because they assumed, obviously, at that point, they assumed Ben was dead. And probably because he made it's a knife joke. So they probably thought to themselves, like, oh, he probably fucking killed him first, if anything. Mm-hmm. And turned out Ben was the survivor.
Yep. The irony of that.
Yeah, it's insane. Let's talk about that one scene though when they do get away. So they take Mick's car and they're driving away. It's completely fucking dark outside. They can't see a damn thing. And then you see the lights behind them because Mick's coming. Mm-hmm. Mick's ready to play. You know, Mick's on his way. And they almost go off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like
they literally almost drove off the cliff.
Literally almost drove off a cliff. But I will say the scene when they're there and they're like on the cliff and they're waiting, they're hiding. That's a tense fucking scene.
Ooh, tense. And then the rocks are falling. You're like, oh my God.
And Mick's right there. He's right there.
I have a question for you though. Do you think he knew they were there and he just let them rock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He knew they were there.
There's no way. It's pitch dark and then like there's no sound and I don't know where there's rocks.
Yeah.
He knew.
He knew they were there. And
even when he was trailing off and they showed a picture of like, and then he just looked sideways. That's how I knew.
Yeah, I do believe Mick knew. And you got to think, because when he leaves at that moment, first off, they got up really fast.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't
And
have
like,
moved.
come on, you're still like, I would have heard that. Oh shit! Look at the commotion.
Yeah, but he was like, oh no. And like you said, he's toying with them. He makes them feel like, oh, you're getting away. You're almost there. And then she goes back to go get another car.
Yeah.
And this, again, final girl, right? She's the final girl. She's heroic. She's doing the right. Everything she's doing is technically right, except go back. Like, that to me was fucking insane. But she decided, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get another car. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Besides, didn't even give a shit about Ben. And then he's in the car.
He's in the fucking car.
He followed her. So he definitely knew they were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
100%.
And he knew that Chrissy, she wasn't getting very far. She was all fucked up. He was stabbing her and shit. Like, he was fucking with her. He probably raped her and whatnot. So she wasn't getting far. So he knew, I'm going to fuck with you first because you've been the fucking thorn in my side. And when his face, like the silhouette of his face is right there in that window.
Yep.
And you're just like, uh-oh. And then he does that laugh that he has.
Yeah.
And then he stabs her.
Right through the seat.
Right through the seat, like a Chucky moment.
Yep.
Stabs her right through the seat. And the next part is where it's so good. He's talking to her. Like he does this is a knife joke.
Yeah, he explains everything he's about to do, and then he does it, and you're like, what the fuck?
I love
crazy.
when he first cuts her fingers off, though, because that's some brutal shit. Because we see the fingers get cut off.
Yep, and you see a close-up of just the little dubs of fingers.
And she's just,
and he's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, don't worry about it. You're fine.
The thing I liked about that was it was at that moment you realize she was fucked. Like, she's not getting out of this. The second, she maybe had an opportunity when she was just kind of crawling away and she got stabbed. But the second he cut off her fingers, you were like, oh, she's getting it. Like, yeah. But how is she getting it? And wow, does she get it?
Yeah, she gets it.
She gets it in a way, like, I love that he explains it, though. Like, how he explains with the war, the head on the stick, where he's like, in the war, they had the prisoners that tried to escape, so they did something to make sure they don't escape. And he's like, so we're going to do a little procedure here. Fucking turns her around and goes, so if I penetrate through here, see on the spine, right? And if I just twist and he's twisting the thing, and she literally just becomes completely paralyzed.
Yeah. And then like you hear the cracking. Like, it was, and when I mentioned earlier about how like the uniqueness of like certain kills, like this one, never seen before. Never seen it.
No, definitely not. This is definitely a creative kill. And technically she's not dead.
No.
When he does that, she's just completely paralyzed.
Yeah. Well, she's going to die. Though.
She's going to bleed out.
Yeah. 100%.
Which you got to think. Now you can't move. Her mouth is stuck. Like it's wide open. And then he just looks like, head on a stick. And then just walks away.
And then scene.
And scene. Moving on. Oh, well, no, that's when he does look and he goes, now let's talk about your friend Chrissy. And you're like, he knows she can't speak. So he's about to just talk to a head on a stick.
Right.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was phenomenal.
And it's terrifying, too, because it's like, wait, so you're telling me that one person could just stick a knife in your back, twist it a certain way, and that's it. Your whole body just shuts down, and you're stuck.
Bleeding out.
And you just bleed out.
And you gotta admit, like, you're probably in intense pain as well.
Well, that's the thing. You're paralyzed, and you feel everything on the inside. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that sucks.
That's insane.
But then we get to Chrissy now. So Chrissy gets her opportunity. She's about to get away.
And we're thinking, oh, she's final girl. I like the twist.
Yeah, all right, cool. We'll take her as the final girl. She does that whole the perfect way of a Texas Chainsaw, where she runs through the field. She's on the road. There's a car coming, but we're thinking, oh no, it's probably Mick. And it turns out it's not Mick, because Mick's all the way over there. What kind of car was Mick driving? That's a dope car. Was that Charger?
I think it was a Charger.
Or like Challenger. That was a nice ass car.
I think it was a Charger, actually. And he was just revving the engine, but he was just waiting.
Yeah. While she was driving, though, he allowed
so
this motherfucker.
that was great.
Dude, yeah, explain that
great.
scene. Explain that scene.
Oh, no. So it was just like, at first, we see the car, and like, again, we're like, no, that's Mick. Why are you even flagging down a car at this point? Like, you get me? Like, you're an idiot. Like, I get it. You're thirsty, you're exhausted, you're bleeding, all that shit. You just want help. But as you know, the last time you wanted help, you ended up in this situation.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to stay by yourself the whole entire time. Like, but no, she flags him down, and, it's a nice old man. He's like, oh my God, Jesus, like, let's get you in the car and everything else like that. I love the fact that, like, he popped the keys open, and then he had the little thermos, and then out of nowhere he hears something, and then he looks, and there's a hole in the thermos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh shit, it's Mick. He has a shot. He has a sniper rifle, and then out of nowhere, bang, right through the eye.
Got him.
Insane. And then of course you see the blood, and Chrissy's just there. She's like, oh shit. And you know that Mick was still just toying with Chrissy, because he could have shot her right there too.
Oh yeah, easily.
No, made her get the keys, turning it on. Boom, he starts flowing, and then she just starts driving, and she's like, come on. First of all, she's an idiot. She's a stupid idiot.
Yeah.
Why? How do you think he got shot? A sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're getting away?
No.
Do you think that he's not going to just hit you straight through the fucking windshield?
Easy shots.
Easy.
Because he made it clear too that he fought in the war.
Right.
So we know he has that. That's one reason, again, why he was able to do the head on a stick thing. That's why he knew where to hit. So we know Mick knows what he's doing when it comes to a fucking sniper rifle.
Right. So whatever. She gets in the car, and Mick's just chilling. He gets in his car. He's just waiting in his Challenger, waiting. And boom, he just catches up to her instantly.
I love that.
And then he just looks at her and he goes, hi.
Yeah, and he's waving at her, and he's like, "Hey, wait, where you going?"
Where you going?
And she tried to push him off the road,
and then his car fails on him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Yes." She thinks he's won. No, sniper rifle
right to the tire.
She fucking flips over.
Yeah, made it flip too, because she hit that fucking dirt patch with like the hill into it, so it made her car flip. And again, that scene too, after the car flips, and it takes her a very long time to get out, because she's completely concussed. You see that big ass fucking knot on her fucking head.
Yeah.
And he just drives over nice and slow, and he just kind of waits, and he comes out, and he's holding the rifle, and he's just standing there, just waiting. She gets out, finally gets out, and she's just, and she just stands up and bang. Like it's nothing.
Just nothing.
Nothing.
Just
it's quiet. There's no music playing while that scene's happening. And you know she's fucked, but you're trying to think, what's Mick going to do? He just shot her.
He just shot her.
He just took a shot. That was it.
And it was almost like a foreshadow from the beginning, right? When he had the rifle and he misses, right? And he was like, oh, look, I was just playing with you.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing with her the whole time because she got it.
Yeah. And then he threw her and the old guy in the trunk of the car and burns it.
Yeah, but the best part was, like, even when that one shot, he just goes up to her closely again and shoots it.
And he shoots again, which is interesting because when he makes it clear, if you don't know how to use that, it's very dangerous in the wrong hands. Right. Because that was the problem with Liz, was she couldn't get it to go for another shot. He just went. Again, it's fucking quiet when that happens. He's not talking. He's.
Boom.
And you're just like, damn.
And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and she's done. She was done from the crash, but he made sure it was just like, nah. He shot her the first time. She was still alive, obviously. That's for him to shoot again. But he made sure he ended that.
Yeah, 100%. Burns the car.
Burns the bodies. That's the last time we actually see. Funny enough, that's the last time we see Mick in the movie until the end when he's just walking off.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then again, we forget about Ben.
Ben Ben,
So
there
you
he
think
is.
the movie's over at this time?
Yeah, that's the end of the movie. It's not the end of the movie. What about Ben?
Ben.
He's still there. He had
Him in a crucifix.
He had it pretty bad though, because he had that shit like going through his wrist, and he had to push it out. Ooh, that had to hurt.
Yeah, you know, and it wasn't even in his wrist. It was like his forearm with all your tendons and
So he bleed out.
Yeah, so and mobility of your hand. If you touch a little further down your wrist, it's making my hand move.
Yeah.
That's a fucking tendon right there. It was through it. That's why when he came out of it, his hands were like limp.
Mm-hmm. And he had to wrap it around so that he could stop the bleeding. But what the crazy part is Mick never is going to look for him. There's not one part of that where you're thinking Mick's watching or Mick came back and realized he was gone. No, Mick didn't do shit. No. Mick didn't care. Mick was like, whatever. Yeah, he's gone. Who cares? He's probably going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then it turns out that when he finally gets saved and he goes back to Sydney, he gets arrested, obviously, because they assume, what happened to the girls. He can't explain what happened because he was knocked out.
Right.
He doesn't know what happened. So they assume he did it. And then, which they do say that he was acquitted.
He got acquitted, I think 4 months later.
Yeah. but that's a long time.
Yeah, to be incarcerated after going through all this trauma.
Right, to have to explain, and everything he's saying, they're just like, no, no. Where were you? I don't know. Well, how are we supposed to believe a word you're telling us right now? You went there with 3. There was 3 of you that went. There's 1 of you that's left, and the other 2 were fucking missing.
Right.
So who's it gonna? Where were you? What happened? I don't know. The guy gave us some. His name was Mick Taylor, which we got to assume his name wasn't really Mick Taylor.
No,
he just made up a fucking name. So all that yeah, I mean, it makes sense that he would be arrested, but that's a long ass time to figure out. Hey, all right, so he's good now, and they said he's living in Sydney.
Yeah, but they acquitted him on everything because they didn't have any evidence.
Yeah, there was no evidence.
Anything.
Yeah,
they're all right, you're free.
It's zero evidence. So they even said the other 2 bodies never came up. They never even went looking for it, pretty much.
No, they didn't. They didn't care.
They probably this kid's just a psycho fuck. He probably killed them. We can't really prove it, so we're gonna let him go.
The Australian judicial system.
Yeah, how amazing it is. And the end of the movie is just Mick walking off into the sunset, into the Australian sunset, and he vanishes like a ghost. He vanishes, which is weird, like a ghost, like he's just gone.
Because he doesn't exist.
Oh, he exists because there are 2 sequels to this freaking shit. And I am very excited to get to those 2 as well. Eventually we will, because, again, now this is our final thoughts to this too. Listen, I really like this movie. I know I agree with you. When I first seen it, I was like, whoa, this is good. But now I sit there and I'm not too overwhelmed where I'm like, whoa, but I am sitting there going no, this is still this is still a very good international Australian fucking killing movie. Because again, suspense thriller, like we said. I was about to say slasher, so I tried to save myself with killing. It doesn't work. But this is a good Australian suspense thriller film. It takes you for a ride. And I enjoyed the ride.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. The realism of this movie is what does it for you, right? We always, it's a little, you can always, how am I going to say this? You can always picture and imagine yourself all right, well, with Leatherface being in Texas and all this other stuff, but it's still more fantasy wise, right? A lot of that stuff cannot really happen now. A Jason or a Freddy that is just all right, this shit is scary as fuck. All this stuff, but can it really, really happen? This shit is realism, right? It's art imitating life. That shit can happen, right? And we always take the whole based on actual events with a grain of salt now, because it's always an idea or a case, and then they fabricate everything else, right? Yeah. But with this, it's almost shit, what would you do in that situation?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? And that's the scariest part. And that's what I still love about this movie, is the fact that it's the realism aspect of it. And it's not a crazy thing about there's not a lot of crazy killings. Mm-mm. There's not a lot of gore, but it's just the cringeworthiness of this psychopath veteran from Vietnam or whatever is out there feeding off of the helpless people who are just trying to have a good time and enjoy a road trip or something else like that. And you got this fucking guy raping and killing people. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane.
This, and I think that's the best way to put it, is art imitating life. And that is why this movie is scary. That's because, again, this is not a movie that you will go and not be able to sleep at night. But this is a movie that if you're taking a road trip and you're in the middle of nowhere and you see nobody around and your car starts fucking up, this is what's going to come to your head. You're going to start thinking shit because you're going to be like, oh my God, somebody's going to show up and they're going to fucking this and this. And this is just exactly what happens. Exactly how Texas Chainsaw was as well. It's one of those movies where I don't want to be in that position. I would love to go to Australia. I'm not going over there, though.
No. I'm staying in Sydney.
Yeah, I'm staying in the fucking city. I'm not going out like that because fuck that. Ain't nobody looking for you.
No.
Nobody's going searching for your ass. Again, they said, what was it? 90% they found within a month.
Yeah.
A month? That's like 30
bro?
to 31 days. That's a long time.
Like, fuck that.
And let's be real, 90% is a pretty good ratio. So you got a good shot if you do something, you get lost or something. Can you imagine though, you go to Australia, you do one of these stupid things and you get lost, but you're thinking to yourself, well, they did say 90%. So as long as I'm not part of the 10%, I'm safe. Someone's going to eventually fucking find me. Until you fucking get killed by the fucking wildlife too, which they never mention anything about the wildlife out there.
You know what? I was hoping we could get to the end of this without saying that, but come on, it's fucking Australia.
Yeah, Australia is known.
But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
And if I'm not mistaken, I actually believe in one of the sequels. They do fuck with some shit when it comes to the life around it.
Nice.
So that'd be really cool that we could eventually get there. But that's the end of the film. We've finished the movie. But before we get into our next fun, excitement stuff that we do, I have one thing to say to you. Hey, horror newbies and Flickbook fans, Tommy James, the Smooth Effect here, and we at Flickbook Horror love to determine which movies are meant for the non-average horror movie viewer. Well, now here's your chance to get in on the action. Horror Pack is a monthly subscription service that sends you horror movies that you get to keep. Yes, I'm talking about keeping it. Put it on your shelf. Simply choose your monthly plan of either Blu-rays or DVDs, and every month you'll receive a package with 4 movies, one specific being a Horror Pack exclusive. And who knows, it may just be that movie sleeper we've been looking for that'll find its way into the Flickbook. So go ahead and click the link in this episode's description to sign up for Horror Pack and tell them the Smooth Effect sent you. I mean, you don't have to, but just do it anyway. Thank you for listening to Flickbook Horror. Please like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll see you at the movies. All right, Mr. Malave, that Horror Pack, huh?
Oh man, it's a doozy.
I did. I got my Horror Pack, and I got Get Out in it, actually. I got Get Out.
It's a good one, and you get to keep it.
Yeah, I get to keep it. I already have it, but now I have 2.
There you go.
So
there you go. Now you could re-gift.
Yes, I could exactly. I could re-gift to all my black friends the movie of Get Out.
Yeah.
Because they get scared. They get scared. I don't get scared in that movie. I'm part of the other crew, so I don't get scared.
So I get scared because I fall somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Like,
you can play both sides technically of that.
You know what though? I think I am also safe because I am the one cleaning up. So like they need landscapers.
True, they want landscapers.
They need, you know what I mean? They need all of us there. So they're not going to take our bodies because then guess what? Like, then what? They're got to clean their own.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Me,
that's not going to.
You know what I mean?
That ain't working out for them. But all right, so now it's time to get into our award show. Of course, we love to do our awards, and we are going to start with Mr. Malave with the Kill 'Em With Kindness Awards. Mr. Malave, let's hear it.
Oh, man. Well, we're talking about Mick. So every time he's going to kill somebody, he's going to be kind about it. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? But if we're talking about the best kill in this movie, we're talking about the Kill 'Em With Kindness Award. There's only one that stands out. And we touched upon it because it was so cringeworthy and it was so unique. And it was something that, honestly, if you're going to go out, I don't even know if you want to go out that way. That shit is just ridiculous. Every time I think about it and hearing those cracks in your back with that knife in your back and just, oh my goodness, bro. Why do you, Jesus. It was just, first of all, menacing. You get stabbed first, right? And that's a huge ass knife. You're hurting. You're crawling. And then he starts explaining to you that he's about to make you not go anywhere. And then he just, boom, shoves it in your back and starts twisting. And you hear your vertebrae breaking. And then you just fall over and you're in immense pain, but you can't scream, you can't move. And you're just looking at this guy and you're like, I am extremely fucked. There's nothing more scarier and more unique than that. And if you're going to kill him, Mick, you kill him that way. And you kill him with kindness.
Yeah, man. Mick kills him with kindness, man. Head on a stick. I love it.
Head on a stick.
Head on a stick. I love it. I think it is. It is the best kill in the movie.
Absolutely.
And just, like you said, just how you hear it happening, how he's explaining that's the worst. That not only is he literally killing you and making you fucking paralyzed, he's explaining to you how to do it, why he's doing it, and what's going to happen. And just he falls right down. Head on a stick.
And I feel like that's more of the scariness of it too, right? He's just telling you. And then he does it. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and all your eyes are still working, so you still see him. You're still breathing. You just can't fucking move. And whatever he's about to do afterwards, there's nothing you can do about it. You're fucked. You're done. Yeah, just please, and all in your head you can think is just please kill me now. But he's going to make it worse. Please. He's going to make it worse for you because now you can't do shit. So I like that. It's a perfect kill him with kindness.
Perfect kill him with kindness. The best killer of the movie.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. So now we're going to get into my award, which is just a little scared. And of course, we already spoke about this. I've already mentioned this is not a scary kind of movie like that. That's not what this movie is about. The scary part of this movie is that, like we mentioned, it could happen to you. So my just a little scared is the fact really that Mick Taylor comes off as such like this down to earth, cool kind of guy. He's a normal fucking, at least appears, just a normal Australian outback fucking guy. And it turns out that he snaps and it's just a fucking psychotic son of a bitch. Where, again, it brings us back to that whole, this could happen to you. You would be fooled too meeting a guy like that, You're not going to be like, I don't know about this. Like, no, you're in a shitty situation. This man shows up. He's very intelligent when it comes to the car. He even makes the joke, it took me 4 hours to get all that shit out, and now it's burned. Yeah. So he can lie enough to be able to pull that off. And that's fucking terrifying that anybody you go to a bar, a party, the fucking outback, fucking anywhere, and meet somebody like that, and you can wake up the next morning tied up. Yeah. And 100%. Fucking, or head on a stick. There's ways, and you would never know. So the biggest fear, or just a little scared, is the fact that he came off as such a normal guy, and he was a psycho.
And he was a psycho killer.
A psycho killer. Oh, it's a good song. I like that song, too. But, Miss Malave, we have to get into our next award, the big award. But before we do that, let's be real. These two awards that we've had focused on Mick Taylor. This whole fucking time we've been talking, we focus on Mick Taylor.
Right, yes.
So, Mr. Malave, I have a question for you.
I have a feeling.
You might know this question. It's a pretty simple one.
Yes.
I ask you, when it comes to Mick Taylor, what's his cocktail?
Ooh, okay. All right. Well, this one's a clear-cut winner right over here. This is clear-cut. As soon as I seen this movie again, and I'm thinking about it like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Now, I know we're in Australia, right? I know we're in Australia, and they have a lot of Fosters for beer. It's a beer. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I could see Mick being a Foster's beer, okay. Right? But, not only that, because he keeps giving. He keeps giving, right? He keeps giving, and like, you have to be some kind of fucked up to do what he does. And everything he's kind of like Hickey, right? He's like a hick in Australia.
Okay.
Right? Like, so I'm thinking that if Mick has to be any kind of cocktail, it's moonshine.
Oh, that's a good one. What flavor?
It doesn't matter. Gasoline. You know what I mean?
Okay, that works. Yeah, that's fine.
It doesn't matter. You know why? Because like it's just moonshine. He's stirring it up in his tub. He probably has little hints of the blood that he's using in that.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't matter. He's fermenting it for days. You know what I mean? He throws some of some roofies in the moonshine that he's giving to them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's moonshine. He's fucking pure gasoline.
That's a good one. I like that one. Moonshine. That's a good
It's
one.
a nice glass of moonshine in a mason glass.
Yeah, it definitely has to be in a mason jar.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's a good one. I really like that one. Because at first I thought you were going with the Fosters. Why am I doing the fucking accent?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the award thing. I'm thinking back to when we used to do the awards. But no. That fucked me up. Because I literally called, I'm like, why am I
started doing it too.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I doing the accent? Because we're talking about Mick Taylor. So, yeah, but I think that's a good thing. I thought you were going with the Fosters, but I like that you flipped it around on that one.
Yeah, because anyone can have a Foster's.
Right.
You can have one here.
Foster's beer. It's Australian.
Not everyone can have a moonshine.
No.
It's fucked up.
I actually heard, because I met somebody that was Australian. They hate Foster's.
Yeah. It's almost like people in Mexico hate Corona.
Yeah, because it's like they think it's nasty. It's like, no, that's not a good Australian beer. That's an Americanized Australian beer, and it's not good. So yeah, I've heard that before. So I think if you would have said he was a Foster, he would want to kill you.
Oh, he'll look at me the way he looked at Ben.
Maybe even worse. He might just shoot you right there. But moonshine, I do see Mick drinking. So when it comes to me, I had to think of my cocktail for Mick Taylor. I actually said that Mick Taylor is a death flip.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, now this is interesting because this is actually an Australian drink. It was created in Australia, in Melbourne. Here's what's in it. We have Blanco tequila, Jägermeister, sugar syrup, eggs, and I'm going to fucking destroy this name, but it's yellow Chartreuse. Maybe you've heard of that before. Chartreuse. Chartreuse. Shiraz, maybe.
Shiraz, maybe? I don't know.
Well,
I've heard of Shiraz, but Shiraz is a wine.
No. You might. Yes, it is a wine.
It's Shiraz.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Very nice. Okay. So, and you know, when I looked at it, because I wanted to find a cocktail from Australia that obviously is not Foster's. Again, that's Americanized. But I started looking at this, the death flip. Not only we know it's fucking Mick Taylor. He kills people. He's all about death. But there's a couple of things in here that, sound kind of good. I'm thinking like, I do like a good tequila once in a while.
Yeah, Blanco tequila. That's
Why not?
margaritas.
That's pretty good. Love it. Tastes delicious. I can take a good Jägermeister, but it leaves a sour taste sometimes, like bit. But I'm not a wine guy, but there are plenty of people that are into wine.
Shiraz, if you don't have wine, it packs a punch. Yeah. Right? It's in the teens in AVBs. Right? Depending on which one you is. A Shiraz is good with a nice steak. It has little peppery notes. It has
yellow too, right?
Yeah, yes. The yellow one is a little different blend, but it definitely packs a punch though.
So, and I love that you mentioned that it packs a punch because so does Jägermeister and so does Blanco tequila. So this thing looks like, and I don't think you're not going to be able to see it, but if I send this to you real quick, you can see what it looks like. And you could take a look and you'll get a vibe that it looks like such a fancy drink. You look at it, you go, oh, it looks beautiful. I love the drink. Just like somebody like Mick Taylor. Oh, it seems like a nice drink, a nice guy. And then he kills you because if you drink enough of them.
And then you're the head on the stick.
Then you become the death flip. Did you get it? Do you see it?
Yes, I did. That looks delicious.
It does, right? It actually looks pretty good. But that's the death flip, and that's what I'm going to say Mick Taylor is, the death flip.
Okay.
It looks delicious, though. Maybe one day we'll try it. Next time, Wolf Creek 2, we got to try ourselves a death flip And we will do what you picked as well.
A moonshine.
Yeah, I could just go to the store.
I have moonshine in
I could go.
I have like authentic moonshine.
Yeah, I can go. There's a store around here that sells moonshine. I don't know if they make it in the bathtub though.
No, this one is pure bathtub.
Yes, that's the one.
It's in a mason jar,
yes.
And like they literally wrote my name with like one of those punch out like stickers.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just like, holy shit! You know who? Hey,
he'll get you drunk.
Actually, one of my friends tried that moonshine on New Year's Eve.
I remember that. Yes.
And he got fucked up. We could have had on a stick them, but we're not assholes.
Yeah. But you know, it was funny because we were drinking it too that night, but we were smart because we wanted to keep drinking. By downing moonshine, you're not drinking no more.
Absolutely.
Because that's just gonna fuck you up. But yes, I remember that. That was a good time. That shit, it tastes good, but it burns the shit out of you. Just like Mick Taylor. That's the perfect way to put Mick Taylor.
Exactly.
Just like Mick Taylor. But, you know, Mr. Malave, now that we've said what our cocktail was, you gave him a kill that had kindness, and I gave that moment that may have been just a little scared. But there also are those moments, just like when you have some moonshine, that you scream on the top of your lungs. Fuck yeah! You say, fuck you, moonshine.
Fuck
no.
Movie.
Movie, that's it.
Yeah, fuck you, movie.
Because I said, fuck you, moonshine.
Fuck you, moonshine and movie.
Fuck you, movie. Now it's time to try to get into the fuck you movie for Wolf Creek. Mr. Malave, we're going to start with you. What is your fuck you movie when it comes to Wolf Creek?
I kind of had like two that I was juggling in this movie, right? Because a lot of stuff is just like, yo, fuck you, fuck this, I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? But like the first one, right? And I'm gonna mention them both because they're almost like intertwined.
Okay.
Right? Like it's intertwined. All right. The first one is when they were coming back from the crater, right? And they're looking at the time and their watches stop.
That was weird
all
too.
Consecutively.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna play a part in the movie. It didn't. It just happened. Maybe they're saying because of the gravitational electrical pull of the crater that your watch stopped, but then you have nothing to do with the movie, so why even mention it and even keep it in the movie? So fuck you, movie, for that. All right, like I had that question and I'm like, fuck you. You didn't even build on that, and why even mention it? So fuck you for that movie.
Yeah.
All right, but the big one here, right, and we touched upon it, right, is the wildlife. You're in Australia. And they supposedly have big ass spiders that are bigger than my head, right? They have snakes that would kill you. I've seen the Steve Irwin show. I know how many fucking crazy things are in Australia that can kill you before Mick comes and gets you, right? And they didn't even mention a fucking spider and someone gets scared in the car and they have to pull over. None of that shit. They didn't have none of that shit. You're in Australia. You're in the wilderness in Australia, not even in the city. And you get not one little scare of an animal, or you just mentioned kangaroos. Yeah, that's very stereotypical. Yeah, but you're killing kangaroos too? They're helping you. Fuck you. Where are the spiders? All right? I know. We're supposed to focus on Mick. I understand. But you're in Australia. Give me a fucking wilderness beast or just a little insect. Something that makes someone paralyzed. You know what? Maybe Mick grabs like a spider and puts it on someone and it bites them and they're like, and now you're paralyzed. You know what I mean? Some shit like that. But it didn't happen. All right. And for that, I say, fuck you, movie.
Oh, Mr. Malave, that is a good one. That is a really fucking good one. And I say that it's a really fucking good one because this is why we the podcasting tag team champions. That's what I put. Where's the wildlife? Like there should be. Like I was stuck between two as well. One that we also mentioned, like, you know, when she shot him in the neck and they didn't continue from there. But we've said that before. That's always going to happen in any horror movie we talk about. We're always going to be like, well, they should have kept killing him. Like, no. So it's Australia. When she was paralyzed, when he finally did the head on a stick, how dope would that would have been? Because remember, her mouth was stuck. If he would have taken like a bug or some shit, like even a spider or something, and put it in her fucking mouth and been like, so that thing's going to crawl down your fucking throat and it's going to start eating you. Yeah. And like eating you from the inside. It's a poisonous like worm or some shit. Because they have fucking some shit out in fucking Australia. Yeah. A snake.
Centipede.
Like bang. That would have been great too. Like a centipede, the poisonous ones, and put it in her fucking throat. Like, you don't have to see what happens, but you know she's dead.
No.
You know it's over. And she's
Right.
going to die a hard, like, she's already in fucking, you know, she's paralyzed in fucking pain and whatnot.
Excruciating pain.
And now that gets added in. Are you going to feel it crawling down your throat? Like, oh, that would have been intense. So I do agree that Australia is known. There's jokes about it of the fucking wildlife of spiders and snakes and everything's poisonous out there. And the bugs, like, they're the size of your fucking hand. Why didn't we get... Mick is a sick bastard. He lives pretty much in the outback. You're telling me he didn't have... That we saw dogs.
Yeah.
Like dogs, that's the way we were going to go? No, if he would have had some spiders or some snakes or like a centipede, like some bugs that were poisonous, that would have fucking been insane. Like that would have been so
great.
cool. So I agree. I say fuck you to not utilizing... You show me the scenery. You show me the beauty of Australia. Get some wildlife in there too to help Mick Taylor with a kill. I think it would have been great.
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. That's a really good one. I'm glad that we were on the same page on that.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
We're on the same page. And this is why, because now we both look and we just look at each other at first and we say, what is that? This is really happening right now? And then we look at the screen and we scream, fuck yeah! Oh, fuck you, movie.
No, fuck you, man. Where's the spiders?
Like, where are the spiders? I mean, maybe when we get to Wolf Creek 2 or Wolf Creek 3, maybe they will be spiders and centipedes and snakes and shit, because they were running in the desert. Well, the Australian desert, the fields and whatnot. You telling me there's no snakes?
Come on.
She had no shoes on. You telling me there's no snakes?
Come on.
You're walking into a bear trap. Guarantee that Mick had some traps around and shit. He was from in the fucking war. But it's fine. We'd say fuck you, and we move on from there.
That's it. That's all we could do.
Well, Mr. Malave, it's coming to the end. We're almost done. But before we end, you know what we have to do, right? There's one more thing. Now, we don't have another guest with us. So the game show hasn't really changed. You're just going to play.
I'm ready.
Can't win $100, though, because it stays in our account, in the second round's account.
It's technically our money, so.
It is. So this is now just for bragging rights. Mr. Malave, you're going to be playing, of course, the famous game. It's all over the world. People are talking about it. They're like, I want to play Money for Nothing. The price is wrong, bitch.
The price is wrong, bitch. The price is wrong, bitch.
All right, let's get it going. It's about that time. We're going to get Money for Nothing by Dire Straits playing in the background because that's what we have play when we play Money for Nothing. Price is wrong, bitch. Mr. Malave, I got a question for you.
Yes.
All right, now, as you know, this movie did come out on Christmas, December 25th of 2005. Go figure, right? And that's, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, because remember, this is an Australian film. So, where was it? I lost it. Okay, so in America, December 25th. In Australia, November 3rd.
Okay.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
November 3rd.
November 3rd. Keep that in mind, December 25th. So this is the all-time domestic box office. So America. All-time domestic box office for movies based on real-life events. I need you to tell me that rank. So I'll say it one more time.
Okay.
I'll say it one more time for you. The rank, you're going to tell me for Wolf Creek, I need to know the rank on the all-time domestic box office for based on real-life event movies. This is based on a real-life event. So you need to tell me that rank. I'll give you a little time to think about it.
Okay. The rank. So it has nothing to do with what times they came out.
Nope, that was just to throw you off.
Yeah. No. See, I threw that off. It's gone. All right. So all-time rank of movies based on real life. Okay. There's a few. There's definitely a few. But there's not a lot. So shit.
Remember, domestic box office.
Domestic. Okay.
Are you ready? You got an answer?
Yes, I have an answer.
Let's hear your answer.
All-time domestic box office for movies based on real life. I'm going with 156.
156. Not bad guess.
No?
Not a bad guess. You are wrong, though.
Obviously.
You are wrong, but you would have, if we were playing against somebody and they didn't, they went lower than you, or if they went over, you would have won. The answer is 229.
Ooh.
So that's not bad.
Okay.
You're only off by like 70 and change, but that's still not bad. And I like the way you put it, because you're like, there isn't a lot. There really isn't a lot of movies based on real life events.
No.
But the fact that it's 229, there's enough out there.
There's enough. Yeah.
There is enough out there. Yeah. All right. So what was your thought process thinking about this?
So, all right. So my thought process was like, again, there wasn't a lot, but there it's still of all time, right? So you got to throw in like Amityville Horror in there. You got to throw in like Texas Chainsaw. We have to throw in like all these movies who are kind of loosely based on like actual events that are in this list, right? So they're probably lower, right? So I'm thinking, all right, okay, Wolf Creek, like, let's see, it's on the list, but it can't be like in the top 100, like, but maybe it's like a little further out, and I'm thinking maybe this was like the all of them is probably 300 to 500. 500 maybe a stretch, but maybe like a 300, 400 kind of movies in this whole like rank. So I'm like, it's dead somewhere in the middle, and I threw out 150. What was it? 152.
152.
152. Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? 152.
It's not a bad guess. Obviously, it was 229. So you took a shot. You had a decent shot, but it turns out that the price was wrong, bitch. Thank you so much, Mr. Malave, for coming on and playing again. You technically get a win because there was nobody to challenge you.
Good.
You didn't go over.
Yeah.
You usually go over.
Guests.
Yeah.
One of my best guests of the season.
Yeah, you usually go over.
No one to beat.
Yeah, that's the shitty part, but don't forget, we have 2 more movies to do. Maybe, Mr. Malave, get yourself a victory. I've only won once, so
there you go.
This is not an easy game. We've made it clear. That $100 stays, of course, in the second round's bank account. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. All right, Mr. Malave, that's it. We're done, but we're not done yet. Right. I like how I did that there. I threw it out there.
We have one more piece of business.
One more piece of business. Again, this has to be unanimous in order for Wolf Creek to get in. So,
and you know what? I don't want to even start. I want you to start.
Want me to start? Ooh. You know what? That's okay. I'll start. So the question...
It's only 2 of us.
Right. It is only 2 of us. So that's fine. I'll start. And of course, for those that are listening, the deal is, obviously, as mentioned, it has to be unanimous. We both have to agree. The question is, does Wolf Creek get into the Flickbook? Is this movie a must-watch at least one time for a non-average horror movie viewer or a newbie, somebody getting into the horror genre? And I will tell you, I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say yes because this is not an American movie. Again, we've stressed it many times. We make the jokes and whatnot. It's in Australia. It's filmed by Australian fucking director. Everything is Australian. It is a good movie. It's a slow burn, but it is well acted. It is well shot. It's really tense. It's not about the gore. It's not about there's no jump scares in this fucking movie. This is a scenario where it's just like, this could happen to you. We mentioned it already. This could happen to you. And I think somebody that's looking a new start to an international film that's based in horror, because anybody will tell you to go to Japan and go to Korea and go to this and France and whatnot. But that's always thrown in your face paranormal shit. How about something that'll make you think, if I make the wrong turn, that I might be fucked? This is one of those kind of movies. I'm actually going to say yes. I think this movie should, one time at least. We'll talk about the sequels later on, but at least this one, yeah, you should check it. You need to see Mick Taylor and see his knife.
Okay. You know what? I like your reasoning, sir. I really do.
Thank you.
See, I'm on the fence here, right? I enjoy this movie every time I've seen it, and being this long time gap that I had before watching it again. And then us breaking down and exercising the demons of this movie. I gotta agree with you, and I feel like it should be in the flick book. I feel like it's totally different from everything else that we've put in so far, and also it's the scenario aspect. It's the art imitating life. Right? It's something that could happen. And before you get to the hostels, before you get to the wrong turns and the hills have eyes joints of these, you can get a nice prequel to all of that with the gore and everything else. As a newbie, you watch this slow burning. You're first like, all right, yeah, no, I could watch this. Like, there's nothing really scary happening. There's nothing really like jump scared that I'm going to be absolutely turned off about. This is just a regular movie. Oh, shit. You see this guy, Mick, that's just like, damn, he was a friendly dude. I would have got caught there.
Yeah.
I would have got caught and I would have died. So, like, for someone who is just getting introduced to these styles of movies, I feel like this is definitely a watch for at least one time in your life. You need to watch this. You need to see that even in a scenario like this, that we still have a survivor, and it actually played out, and he actually got punished for this, and it's just crazy how even though we don't have animals trying to kill you, we have this guy, just having fun with you guys, with everyone there, and just torturing them, and just knowing that in the back of your head, if you ever get lost in a remote place, that this can kind of happen. That's the reason why you should watch this at least once, to get you prepared to watch all the other ones that are out that are basically a little better in the gore aspect and in the killings aspect. But this one right here with the slow burn, it kind of makes you feel, with the cinematography and everything else, that you're there with them. You are in this journey of chaos and torture with them. And for that, it should absolutely be in the flick book.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think you like how you even put it. There is no wildlife. There's no animals. But Mick Taylor, he's an animal. That guy's a fucking animal. He's a savage, and and that's why I think it's one of those movies. Like, do you put this in the top 100 films of horror? Probably not. But
no.
It's something that you should check out, because again, we bring that art imitating life. We bring the point of that this can happen to you. Like, this actually, Freddy Krueger cannot happen to you. That's not, Jason's not going to happen to you. This might. This is a possibility. It's a low possibility. It's your decision to make. If you decide to go in West Bumblefuck where you don't know what the fuck you're doing,
then the risks.
There's risks there, and this movie may help you make a decision better, to help you maybe not look at an Australian and say, oh, it's a knife. Like, no, maybe don't do that. He doesn't like that very much.
Definitely not.
I mean, we didn't touch on it, but remember when they go and they stop to get gas and they go into the store and the guys were being fucking assholes to them?
Yep. Asking for a gangbang and shit.
Yeah, like, that happens. That's, you're not from around here.
Right.
I mean, you got to remember. I mean, remember when we had to drive back to New York that time? When I was coming back, we had to stop in West Bumblefuck, fucking Virginia, and listen, it's Spanish, white, and it was mostly black people, and they were nice to us. That nobody was rude or anything, but they gave us an eye because they knew they were like, you're not from here, and it's just like, hello, like, trying to be just like respectful at the same time. Hey, but that's usually what happens in those kind of movies. So they usually try to be respectful because they know this is not their home. But they don't give a fuck. These people fucking don't care. So you knew there was already a bad spot happening. And this movie that's what's scary about it. Is it possible? Maybe 20%, but there's still a percentage.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, there's a percentage.
No, it's 20%, 100% on what you're agreeing on.
100%, there is a 20% chance that this might happen to you.
That's a lot of math.
It's not that much.
That doesn't make sense.
Now my head hurts.
60% it works every time. That doesn't make sense. But okay, so that's it. So Wolf Creek is getting into the flick book. Well deserved, I'd say. At least this is our first international film to get in. And I love that it's an Australian film too.
Australian.
It's Australian. Now we can get back to the accents. This is a knife.
This is an odd.
Crikey, it's a crocodile. Yes, they're crocodiles there.
It's a crocodile.
Oh, and cheers to Steve Irwin, man. I grew up. That was my first real introduction to Australia. Oh man,
yes.
I don't. I think the gods are not happy right now that I'm doing Australian accents. Big ass thunder just started.
Yeah, nah, it's got really cloudy over here in New York too. Man.
Did it really?
It's fucked up. Yeah, it really.
Yeah,
got
got cloudy over here too. Oh my God, you know what that means? That means we're fucking with the horror too much. Let's stop fucking with it. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to say sayonara. So, Mr. Malave, we'll start with you and hurry up before Mick shows up.
All right. Well, before Mick shows up, this is Matthew Malave, a.k.a. Mr. Malave, a.k.a. your four-time Who You Got champion. And I cannot wait to talk some more horror with you guys soon. We are on episode 10. 11's coming up. We're almost done with season 1, baby. It has been a doozy, and I cannot wait. Crikeys, look at that sky.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Malave. Yes, this is episode 10. We got 2 more to go for the first season, and then we taking a wedding break. Your wedding, sir. We're taking your wedding break, and then we'll come back with season 2. We're going to have some awesome special guests. Of course, you're going to get the Ace and Hole. Sabrina, she's going to be coming back on for our final 2 episodes coming. Marvelous Marvin is going to be showing up, of course, again. Of course, Caitlin's going to be showing up again. And just so you guys know, the brand new show from Second Rounds Media, Voices from the Beyond, they are going to be joining us as well for a very special episode in season 2. You can check out their show. I was on their last episode doing Jaws. Mr. Malave, you're up next for them.
Oh, yeah.
So they're very excited to get you on to, I guess, talk about something. Listen, we were supposed to talk about Jaws. We talked about Jaws for about 10 minutes. It was old school Second Rounds. We were talking shark movies, Stranger Things. Sharknado got mentioned. Oh, yeah. Samuel L. Jackson, Jason Statham punching sharks. It was great. But thank you guys so much. I hope if you haven't seen this movie, again, we both agree that you should watch it at least one time in your life. If you've seen it and you disagree that it should be in, why don't you let us know? We don't give a fuck if you like it or not. You can check us out on all social media platforms. That's including TikTok. Mr. Malave, we're on TikTok. And we're doing some...
on the TikToks.
We are. We just put out some cool stuff. We talk wrestling on there, too. We talk movies all the time because that's what we do. JWF, we're just wrestling fans. We're coming back, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you guys so much. And, hey, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.